Hello. This is Lady Renee Thomas James and welcome back to my channel. A year has passed and that's still cheesy, but I like it. I do. So, as you have seen already, this video will be 2019 year in review, and I felt the need to do this video for the reason of I have been missing from my channel in maybe over a year, just over a year. I made a video for January 2019 and let me tell you, it just didn't go through. It didn't want to go through. It wasn't happening. The video was like, we're not doing this. Everything that could go wrong with regards to editing, posting, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I said to myself, you know what, Renee, let it be. I had no urge to say, okay, get this done in terms of, you know, posting again on YouTube. And then I was wondering, okay, what is going on here? So let's have a chat about what really happened to me in 2019. Disclaimer, this video will be very transparent. Let's hope no tears come. I'm gonna try my very best to hold back tears. And as usual, for me, it's a judgment-free zone. If you want to go ahead and judge, kudos to you. For me, I see this as a judgment-free zone. So let's start. 2019, January 1st. January 1, 2019 started with me being miserable. Miserable beyond comparison, comprehension, and just not how I envision living my life. I don't believe in living in misery. I believe that, you know, you do have seasons in your life, thanks Jay Shetty. You do have seasons in your life, but seasons should pass. And yes, sometimes our seasons are a little bit longer than others, but January, it was misery. I went to work, you know, yes, January 1st, I went to work. I had started a job maybe 4 months prior, and I started off liking that job. Another disclaimer, I mean, jobs and me are interesting, very interesting. It doesn't allow me to be my creative self, hence, you know, being miserable on the job. That's the best way I can explain it. You know, you have to live with jobs. I see jobs as you get stuck in a box and you have to do rules by that box, and I don't exactly do well with rules. I'm not sure if you guys know this about me. I don't do well with rules. I make my own rules and live by that. I will live by the law, but not necessarily by the rule. And I mean, it's something I even encourage my kids to do, because you know, rules allow you not to be creative, not to be your creative self, your best self, because you are living based on what someone else says you should live by. So fast forward, I was in a job, very good job, with beautiful people that I actually loved working with. Not necessarily working for, but working with. You know, my office staff, beautiful. Let me start naming a few. Ariane, Krisa, Rachel, just beautiful. Effie. Beautiful people working with, but not necessarily working for. And I believe that people often say, well, it's your job, why should you feel appreciated? Look, I'm a creative mind, and while I don't need validation, I need to feel as if I'm coming into a space where I am taking away time from my family, time from, well, in my case, which is nobody's problem, my business, myself, my kids, my husband. I need to at least feel some form of appreciation for that. And even science has shown, there are studies shown that people do so much better socially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually when on the job, which is where they spend most of their time, they feel appreciated. So to all my entrepreneur friends out there and all my business owners, if nothing, at least show appreciation to your employees. I have just recently also started building my my team, and if nothing, like at every meeting I have to say it, or every now and then I throw in an email of how much I appreciate the work being done by team members, because trust me, I can't do it on my own. So 2019 started with me. I went to work. On my way home from work, I was just saddened. I was saddened that the holiday where my husband was home, and he's not off at that time. He was working in a different province, so my husband was home, my children were home, and I had to be at work. That didn't feel good. On my way home, I was saddened. Got home, I was miserable. Didn't want to project that on the family, which is hard to do, because then your family feel you, your family have the ability to feel you. And I started making oats porridge. I remember I didn't want anything heavy. I wanted something light, so I started making oats porridge. Now your girl is very good at oats porridge. It got burnt. It got burnt. I remember when it got burnt, I switched off the stove, just like I was angry. I mean, I came in, I didn't talk to anybody, started the porridge. It got burnt. Switched off the stove, didn't talk to anybody. I just drove out the house. I grabbed my bag, drove out the house, and I went to the IHOP close by, the parking lot in IHOP, and I was just looking at the fact that I was, for months already, and I was working in a certain space. I was not being creative on my channel. I was not being creative in my business. I was basically not living my best self. I was away from my family hours on end, hours, like upwards of 10 hours, coming back home to then spend maybe 6 hours in my business, going to bed at maybe 3-4 a.m. to get back up at 8 a.m. My daughter was an intricate part of getting she and her brother out of the house, and me just getting up at 8-9 a.m. to get back to work. It was super duper hard, and I think I was not okay with not giving time to my business. And I think that is where trying to combine both working a 9 to 5, which was not 9 to 5. I mean, 9 to 5 is often 8 to 10, well, 8 to 6, 8 to 7, you're away from the house, I would say, realistically. And I was just not successful in merging the two, in merging the different aspects of my life. And that spilled over, that misery spilled over into my marriage. It spilled over into the relationship with my kids. It spilled over into my mental health. We will be doing a video on mental health. Stay tuned for that. It just spilled over into every aspect of my life. Now, if you know me, or if you've been watching my videos or following me on IG, Lady.Renee Thomas James, you know my preach and my practice is positivity, positive energy. No matter what comes your way, let us be positive about it. And like Jay Shetty says, in your life you will have seasons. Know which season you're going through and just know how to handle it. During this season, I couldn't define it. Hence, I didn't know how to handle it. It hurt. It hurt me. It hurt my marriage. It hurt my relationship. I think it hurt my relationship with my kids way less, because I am mindful of that. That is something that I try to stay mindful of. Tapping into their time, tapping into their needs, tapping into the fact that my 17-year-old was handling shish. She was just handling her brother, handling the household. And even sometimes I was at work, I would cry, because I'm like, my 17-year-old is holding down the fort. My 17-year-old, 17. In my opinion, that's just too young for that big of a responsibility. And I know people would say, but Renee, it happened, people, 17-year-olds do that. There are 17-year-olds on their own out there doing shish. Yes, that happens, but that's not what I want to create for my 17-year-old. I want her to enjoy youth, enjoy being a child, and not force her or push her into adulthood any sooner than needs be. And having to take care of her younger brother, looking at that, it really broke my heart in every sense of the word. So then that led to overcompensating in different aspects with them. So I was spending money to just give it to them, whatever they wanted. I'm gonna give it to you, like, take it, because I was overcompensating for the fact that I wasn't spending time with them, and that hurt, right? I do have my book. You guys know I love turquoise. That is my favorite color, by the way, FYI. So the job, the business, the balancing business, marriage, self, and my family, that was hard. To top things off, living in a different province with my husband, which long distance relationships are, it's not for us. By no means it is for us. We live in separate we were living in separate time zones. My job was a shift job, his job is a shift job. You know, I'm dealing with the kids, I'm dealing with the business. It's almost as if we were having to figure out who the next person is, or who, you know, figure out each other within that season. Okay, who are you? How are we going to do this? How are we going to maintain a certain sense of relationship within the relationship, right? Staying connected to each other, which is important for us, super duper important. So what the heck are we going to do now? Quite frankly, the truth be told, we did as much as we could to stay connected, in a constant communication. Once I drove out of my office, I was on the phone with him straight home, because when I get home, that's the kids' time, and then he would be going to bed because, you know, he was hours ahead of me. So, you know, it was tough, and we had to figure that out. And as soon as we figured out who we were in this relationship, you know, with the distance, you know, guess what? Time to move. We wanted, our aim was to get our family back under the same roof, because I had the kids by myself. He was away working, you know, setting up, you know, the nest for us. So we had to move. So upon moving, we drove from Alberta to Ontario. That was a beautiful trip, by the way. A few days, it took maybe 4 days. Beautiful, beautiful trip. Like, I enjoyed it. To my surprise, nobody killed each other. We didn't kill each other. We had a very good trip. You know, we got to know each other again in terms of in an intimate setting as a family. So that was good. And black people don't really do trips, 4-day trips. Most black people don't do it. Like, get on a plane, get your butt on a plane, and, you know, just fly it out. But it was just absolutely beautiful. So having traveled, you know, to Ontario and getting to know each other again under the same roof. People don't understand, when you separate a family, you have to get to know how that family fits in a separated situation, and then when you bring that family again under the same roof, you have to be able to figure out how that family is going to fit and function under the same roof again. And it is tough. It's tough on the relationship, it's tough on the relationship with your kids, the marriage. It is tough. So and we're still figuring it out as days go by. So having, you know, moved back into, you know, this intimate setting that we do appreciate and love, we're still figuring out, okay, who are we together under the same roof? Because I got independent, you know, doing my own thing with the kids, having a certain structure with the kids, and then he got, you know, independent, doing his own thing on his own, which is, you know, never good for both of us. So doing his own thing and me doing my own thing, so now we have to merge them. So with that, it brings up, you know, conversations that you might not really want to talk about, you know, in terms of, okay, you know, it brings up intimate conversations. It brings up, you know, the fact that, okay, we have to, you know, maintain responsibility for each other. And I take great responsibility in, you know, handling my husband and his mental and emotional well-being, and he does the same for me as well. So you can just imagine, you know, having those conversations when you have gone, we weren't separated, but we were separated within the marriage, like living separately for the reasons of employment. And now you're having to merge that. It was tough. It was tough. It was tough. And then kids, you have to figure out, you know, kids and all of that, you know, tapping into their wants, their needs, and ensuring that you're raising them to be, you know, decent adults, and you want them to be able to see certain discrepancy in the marriage, to learn from it, but at the same time they can't see everything. So, you know, it's what, you know, for me, my husband is not the type to say certain things in front of the kids. For me, it's like, okay, it's healthy, it should be a healthy space, but what to say and how we say it. And you know, just figuring all of that out, that left me in a place of, what am I doing just with, you know, me, Renee Thomas James, as a whole. And it's something that I've always said to myself. You know, my father was a good man, Thomas, and I am Thomas before anything else. And for the Christians out there, I know you're gonna say, you know, the two became one, but at the same time, I need to have a grounded self. I need to have a grounded sense of who I am. So I have to figure out in every season, or in each season that passed my way, who is Renee Thomas in Renee Thomas James, Renee Thomas the mom, Renee Thomas the wife, the friend, the individual. Because if I don't maintain a sense of individuality, I am going to be scattered. And that's exactly what happened to me in 2019. I just lived a scattered, chaotic, confusing life, because I just couldn't figure out who I was in the different seasons of 2019, right? One thing I did do was just, I prayed like crazy and depended on God to just guide me. Like, I'm like, Lord, at one point in time, even for the marriage, I'm like, you know what, I got nothing, like, God, take it. And my husband is like, what are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just giving it to God, because that's the truth. I don't know what I was doing. I felt like I was just pulled in different directions, and I just don't know what I'm doing. Confusing, see? Still figuring it out. Now, I may have said this before. Jay Shetty said, just as how everything in nature has its season, right? There's 4 seasons in the year, and nature depicts those 4 seasons. We have to also remember that we are not in nature, we are a part of nature. And when I heard it, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, what? It stuck out to me big time, in the sense of being a part of nature. What does that mean? It means that your life is also going to go through seasons. It means that you're going to go through a dry season, a season of spring, summer, autumn, winter. Your seasons are going to look different, and they may not come in a calendar year, and they may not come how they come on a calendar, and they may last a little bit longer than 3 or 4 months. However, you need to find out, okay, what season you're in and how you're going to handle it to be your best self. And for this past 2 weeks, I'm like, for me, I am always my best self when I'm creating. Hence, Take Me Away Essentials. That is when I am just at one with peace, nature, life, being a wife, being a mom, being an individual. That is when, for me, I am my happiest, most fulfilling self. I've never believed that a project or even a business would give me that much fulfillment, which is why I know it's my purpose to do something, you know, in that bracket, in that field of hair and skin, because it's not only a passion, it's a purpose. It's something that I've always done. And when he said that we are a part of nature, so we have different seasons, it just brings me back to, I'm sorry, I don't have water with me, brings me back to remembering that no matter what we go through, we have to know how to handle it and appreciate the ups and downs, the crying, the tears, the misery, the frustration. We just have to appreciate it that much more, because it means there's a lesson, I believe, to be learned in that season. I was also very distant from friends, very distant from family, because I didn't want to put that on anybody. I didn't want to put it on, you know, friends. I didn't want to bring them down. I don't believe in bringing down people with, you know, how I feel or what I'm going through. So I isolated myself, which is not good for an individual either. But I just needed time to myself, which I think is, you know, needed. Isolation isn't good, but time away is good. Your ability to understand that, if you understand it. So while you don't want to isolate yourself, you need time away. You need time to regroup. You need time to refresh. You need time to rejuvenate, right? You need time to gather yourself to be able to be your best self, right? So finding myself and fit in it all, through it all, was of utmost importance. I had no urge to do YouTube, and I think I was supposed to just take that time. I had way too many things going on, so I had no urge to do YouTube or my IG. I'm cleaning up my IG, by the way, so go follow me over there. And I want to be able to be my truthful self both on YouTube and IG. I don't wanna go ahead of myself, but I want to be my transparent self, right? So merging the different aspects of my life, yes, was challenging for me. I did it with God by my side, you know, talking to my husband, being open with my husband, maintaining a relationship with my children, which is a huge part of my life, and more importantly, you know, working towards, or always working towards, staying true to the sense of who I am as an individual. If you resonated with this video, feel free to drop a comment below. Tell me, I mean, how was 2019 for you? If it was fabulous, let me know. If it was challenging, let me know. If it was both, let me know. What stood out to you, you know, about 2019? What aspects of it did you like? What was challenging and what wasn't? And how you overcame it all. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to know how I did this here, I will be posting it on my business page, so go and subscribe to that. Take Me Away Essentials, where we talk about, you know, hair and skin, and we give tips and we do hairstyles. So I will be uploading this to Take Me Away Essentials on YouTube, that channel. Go check it out. Follow me at Take Me Away Essentials on IG. That's my business page, and my personal page, Lady Renee Thomas James, Renee Thomas -James. Bye bye.